Yo, Cosmos. What's good, bro? How you doing today? Do me a favor, Cosmos. Let me know if you can hear anything in the background. If you hear any additional noises in the background of this video. And how loud is it? Yo, Ringo. What's up, brother? How you doing today, bro? Let me share this real quick on Twitter. Did you guys already read the chapter? Cosmos, Ringo? So far, I don't hear anything. It's a little bit quiet now, but the reason I ask is because they're doing construction, not just right outside my apartment building, but right outside like my window, not my bedroom window, but the living room window. So I don't know why they wait until 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. to do construction. Usually you do that shit at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. But for some reason, these guys keep doing it in the afternoon, and this is the only time I can live react. So it's been going on for like the past 20 minutes. It's kind of chilled down right now, but it was either live react over the noise and close off. I try to close off as much as I can, or I just read it on my own. So I figured let me just close it off and see. So if you guys do hear it, just know that it's the construction outside my building. It shouldn't be going on much longer, but I don't know with these guys. They're very unpredictable. But I'll try my best to eliminate that sound as much as I can. I start with a little scaling. Who you got between Fishman Island Zoro, 21 years old, versus God Valley Kaido, 20 years old. Kaido. Definitely Kaido because he's been around stronger people. The only person Zoro has been around that's like that is Mihawk. And look what Mihawk, look at like the reality check Mihawk gave him, right? Kaido doesn't need that reality check because he's been around Roger, he's been around Rocks, he's been around Big Mom, Whitebeard, Shiki, all these people in their prime. So Kaido being as strong as he is a product of his environment, of his surrounding. He's been around people that strong. So I would go with Kaido. But let's go right into the chapter, guys. All right, it's chapter 1097 titled Ginny or Guinea, which I believe is Ivankov's sister. I'm assuming you guys already read the chapter. Cover request by Takashi. Kuma catching a salmon in a river. And you got Ginny holding up a squid, I think. You got, I don't know who those two are in the background. I'm trying to see if Ivankov is here, but I don't see her. Or him. I don't really know what gender Ivankov is, to be honest. I've just always said her. 8 years after the God Valley incident. 8 years. Oh, no, we skipped it. We completely skipped it. 30 years ago. Please help me, Kumachi. I've been coming here since your pa was around. It came as a nasty shock when you all went and disappeared on us. Kingdom of Sorbet, South Blue. So they're back home. But it's comforting to know you grew into such a sweet boy. Your parents did a great job. I'm sure they're so proud of you becoming a bona fide what? Clergyman. What the hell is a clergyman? Days and months pass by. Yo, John, I'll try to have it one earbud, but I don't know how much I'll be able to pay attention. This is peak fiction. Go to this chapter. Is this chapter big? Without spoilers, is this a big chapter, guys? Like, should I be expecting it to be as good as last chapter with the rock stuff? There are hardly any youngins left in this country, young guns left in this country these days. It's no wonder we're getting poorer and poorer. Ah, what a relief. I feel so much better. Bless you. Me next. My hips are killing me. He's just pushing everyone. Oh my god, this is incredible. He's doing what he did to Luffy and Thriller Bark to everyone here. And then to Zoro, he does the complete opposite. Takes other people's pain and puts it on him. Pastor Bartholomew Kuma, 17 years old. Is he working in like the church or something? Is that why he carries around the Bible now? We can't thank you enough. God bless your miracle hands. Can't you do this on weekdays too? So this is 17 years old Kuma. Can't you do this on weekdays too? Fat chance, Sundays only. Where do you think freeloading? Where do you think freeloading old bags? Where do you freeloading old bags get off asking for even more help? Haha, we've gotten the attention of little Miss Cheapskate. Quit flapping your gums. This isn't a nursing home. I tell you to wash your mouth if you weren't such a cutie pie. I heard there's no end to the number of suitors that come knocking on her door. How old is she now? Don't change the subject. She looks like Nami here. Sister. Ginny, 21 years old. None of them have a chance with Komachi here. Just looking into that calm face of his is enough to comfort anyone. You're too kind. You're the one who's too kind. Wait, what? I heard there's no end to the number of suitors that come knocking on her door. None of them have a chance with Komachi here. Just looking into that calm face of his is enough to comfort anyone. And then he says, you're too kind. And she's like, you're the one that's too kind. He's like Chopper almost. He's too innocent. It's good, not game chapter, not game changer. Okay. That's all right. We don't need a game changer every chapter though. Not super big, but the writing is immaculate. All right, that's good. That's what I'm looking forward to. Let's keep reading. To tell the truth, we'd love to donate and support our Komachi, but we've all been struggling just to meet the celestial tribute recently. I'm sure you've heard about our new king, right? They say that King Bikori is a cold-hearted monster. He's hell-bent on paying the tribute, and he doesn't care about whether us old farts are too sick to contribute. Why does this guy look like he was in the reverie? I could have sworn this guy was in the reverie. But Kuma, we know Kuma ends up being a king, so he should be dead by now, right? He shouldn't have been at the reverie in the current timeline. Because Kuma at some point in time becomes king of... I'm pretty sure he becomes king of this place. He's the tyrant King Kuma. Which I have no idea how he ended up getting that name, looking at what we're seeing now. If we can't, they'll lock us up. He's the worst. The other day, an acquaintance of mine ended up starving to death in their cell. Can you believe that? Excuse me, guys. Got a little bit of a cold towards the tail end of it, so I'm better now. But the other day, an acquaintance of mine ended up starving to death in the cell. Can you believe that? That miserly king of ours won't even feed his prisoners. He's even more of a cheapskate than Eugenie. Yet he's happy to bend over backwards for the celestial dragons. If we don't stay in good health, we're gonna get killed. Yo, they gotta get rid of this guy. I can get rid of any pain or mild illness you need me to. So please visit every week. Why wouldn't you want to make this a full-time job? Are they paying them? I guess they're not really paying them. Thanks so much, Komachi. And then he has this giant bubble. Is this everybody's pain at the end of the day? All in one? Is he going to walk into it? Dips his hands just like Zoro. Oh my god. He dipped his hands in it. Everybody's pain from the whole day. And you see him struggling like crazy, screaming. Yo, this guy's screaming more than Zoro did. And Ginny's outside crying. Kuma's down. Why did he do that? Does he have to do that? They have no idea you're taking on any of their pain, Komachi. And you keep doing this week after week. Oh my god. No wonder she's so against. No, I thought she was being greedy. I thought it was a money thing, like Nami. when she was saying weekends only. She's doing it for him. Oh my god. Man. Why does he have to take it? Why can't he just leave it there? They have no idea you're taking on any of their pain, Komachi, and you keep doing this week after week. It can't be helped. If someone doesn't shoulder their burdens, that pain and suffering of theirs won't just disappear. It'll be left to fester, returning to haunt them again and again. He doesn't want it to be out in the open like that. More than anything, I'm just glad I can do something to help them feel happier. I'm sorry for putting you through this, though. I'll get tougher so you won't have to worry. That's not the point. We got a little food as thanks today. Let's eat up. So what happens to Ginny? How is like basically Ivankov's sister and then basically Kuma's younger sister. This is like a younger sister to him, clearly. What happened to her? How come we've never even heard of her? It's almost like Sabo all over again. It's like the Sabo situation. Let's eat up. Woohoo, dinner time. And we see Kuma and Ginny eating. 25 years ago, so we skipped 5 years, when Kuma was 22. Hey, Kuma. Never mind. She's not like his younger sister. Hey, Kuma, let's get married. Huh? We can't. What the hell's with that reaction? Of course we can. You love me, right? Just admit it, you dope. Oh, never mind. I read their situation entirely different then. Wouldn't it make you happy? I'm sure it would, but the thing is, just take me. I'm the one with the Buccaneer blood. My wife is normal. Please let her and my son go. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that for her. I don't want to make you unhappy. Look at this. It's another article. Oh, wait. She's older than him because when he was 17, she was 21. So now he's 22. She's 26. Look at this. It's another article about those freedom fighters. They finally issued wanted. Is this the Revolutionary Army? They're going to see Ivankov on it then. They finally issued wanted posters for them. Are we going to see Dragon's Bounty? After they incited riots in several countries. Dragon. He's so cool. He's like a hero. Look how young he looks, man. One day I want to head out to sea and dedicate my life to saving people too. They finally issued wanted posters for them. Hello, is anyone home? Ginny, our sweet moose, we had a massive haul today. Please help yourself. They're giving them food and they're giving them fish. Thank you, Mr. Fishmonger. Reminds me of Luffy from Chapter 1. Getting fish from the fishmonger for free. Idiot. Then, 22 years ago, something major happened. So this is 3 years. Fast forward another 3 years, right? The people you've kidnapped. Let them go. Save us, Komachi. What are you yelling about, you big oaf? Are you trying to pick a fight with the royal army? That's treason. That's treason, you know. Castletown, the kingdom of Sorbet, when Kuma was 25. He's apparently a pastor from some church in the southern province. Are you trying to pick a fight with the royal army? So this is the army of the real Tyrant King, the actual Tyrant King. The people you've kidnapped, let them go. They've kidnapped civilians. Hey, pastor, didn't you hear about the new law? We are allowed to do whatever we want to our southerners. You're planning on enslaving them? He's not going to allow that. I won't let this pass. And he attacks them. He's a rebel. My liege, this new policy, the people might find it hard to swallow. It is of no consequences. They'll soon grow accustomed to their new status. Before long, it won't bother them. They'll all come to see the Southerners for the vermin they are. I mean, he's right in the fact that if you do it long enough, people will just get accustomed to it and they won't ask any questions. Look at the Celestial Dragons in Mary Joan right now. Look at what we saw in Sabaody and how everyone was just accustomed to it. They couldn't help the slaves that were crawling, that were holding up the Celestial Dragons, that were being mortared, tortured. And they were just, as soon as they see a Celestial Dragon, everyone's just like, get on your knees, don't ask any questions. If they kill your wife, whatever. So he is right about that. From this day forward, the borders of Sorbet shall stop at the edge of the northern province. From this day forward, the borders of Sorbet shall stop at the edge of the northern kingdom of Sorbet, Castletown. The borders of Sorbet shall stop at the edge of the northern province. The amount of celestial tribute is decided by a country's population. So he wants to cut off the population. Kuma's Church, Old Folks Village. So we have Kuma's Church, Old Folks Village, and Castletown. So is he trying to kick out Kuma's Church and Old Folks Village from Sorbet? We will no longer be weighed down by all the old fossils in the south. We must cut out this cancer so the fittest of the glorious nation can thrive. So this is now the lawless land. And it's only Castletown. So they're left to fend for themselves, and they're not going to be able to pay the tribute. So yeah, they're in jail. Kuma, Ginny, and their squad. Tell me what made them arrest you two. Oh, they beat them pretty good too. We raised hell trying to get them to free you, Kumachi. But they gave us a thrashing in the end. He's pissed. Ginny, this country is on the brink of becoming a cesspool of bigotry and hate. King Bikori is a celestial dragon puppet. This new policy was given to him from on high. If you plan on starting a rebellion, you'll be signing up to fight the world government as well. Who are these guys? Huh? Your Majesty, we must flee. Someone's invading. That's Ivankov and Dragon. Clearly, as if we would let you escape. This is what you get. You want to be Celestial Dragon. And this is how Kuma joins. Ivankov, I got this flashback gave me so much, as if I didn't respect Ivankov enough. You have to love Ivankov after this, man. Ivankov's loyalty to the people that's close to them is just like tight. It's like Bon Clay level. You make me sick. The king's been overthrown. His slavery laws are no more. Thank goodness. I hated what this country was becoming. And so, this mysterious band saved the kingdom of Sorbet from the corruption of the world government. I wonder, have we heard about this kingdom in the current timeline? Like maybe the Revolutionary Army using it as a temporary base or anything like that? Look at this. So what happens to Ginny, man? Or Ginny? The onset of the Great Pirate Era and the tragedy of Ohara. So Ohara already happened. The onset of the Great Pirate Era and the tragedy of Ohara. What did they say last? They said 22 years ago. So this is 2 years after Roger's death. Spurred these freedom fighters to take up arms against the corrupt regimes of the world, starting numerous insurrections. It didn't take long for the two pillars of this movement to become three, as Dragon and Ivankov recruited Kuma to their cause. So now there's three major pillars. We see Ivankov. Hee-haw. Count me in too, Ginny. This organization would adopt a new name, one that echoed around the world, the Revolutionary Army. Please don't tell me that's the chapter end. Please don't tell me. Look at this panel. We got a young Dragon, young Ivankov, Kuma looking badass with the cape. We got Ginny. Is that Bello Betty with the Sabo hat? The top hat? That might be a young Bello Betty. And I don't recognize anyone else. I don't see any of the other commanders. We're still lacking funds. For now, we must act like mercenaries, supporting those who already have a will to topple their monarchs, fueling their rebellious spirits. So they gotta get paid for what they're doing. Supporting those who already have a will to topple their monarchs, fueling their rebellious spirits. All our recruits get weapons training drilled into them. I want us to grow into a boundless army spread throughout the world. Where did you learn about weapons, Dragonson? I spent some time with the Navy. The, I don't even know how long this 10, 15 year plus theory is true. That's it. All right. Dragon is a former admiral. It's basically confirmed. It's basically confirmed. This theory that's been around for as long as I've been reading One Piece, that I'm a fan of and I've bought into for years now, has been confirmed. Not that he's a former admiral, that's not confirmed yet, but that he's a former Marine, which makes perfect sense if he's, but we don't really even know if he's the son of Garp. For all we know, Garp is his in-law. But this now makes it seem like he is the son of Garp. I spent some time with the Navy. Unfortunately, I found no justice there. Marine or revolutionary, he's a man determined to help others. It only makes sense that for someone that's completely dedicated to one side to have seen the other side firsthand, and that's why he's so against it. If you're so against something, more than likely it's because you've been drowning in it before. You've been knee deep in it. You've experienced it from the inside, looking out, and you really know how bad it is through experience. And so now that's why he's against them. Marine or revolutionary, he's a man determined to help others. Kuma is becoming one of my absolute favorite characters so quickly. Yeah, I love this flashback, John. I love this flashback. Zoro, nothing happened. Whitebeard half face blown up by Akainu. Kuma, amateurs. I wouldn't say that. I mean, Kuma's is I almost want to say it's like Zoro's, but you gotta also take in that Kuma is doing this on a regular basis. He even said, he's like, the more I do this, the more accustomed I'll get to it, so you won't have to worry. He basically did the exact same thing as Zoro, I'm not gonna lie. But for Zoro, he's doing that and it's his first time experiencing that. So he's gonna feel more pain, and he still stood up. So take this in. That was Kuma's, we don't know, 5th, 10th, 20th time doing it, and he was still being hospitalized and treated by Ginny. Zoro did it the one time, and he didn't even go down to one knee. He was still standing. And Whitebeard, nothing touches Whitebeard, man. Nothing touches Whitebeard. Excuse me, guys, 1 second. All right, I can tell we're close to the end of the chapter, but I don't want it to end, man. This is so good. You can really count on me, Dragon. You won't regret joining us. He's saying that to Kuma. You won't regret joining us. I'll be. Look who's back. I'll be coming home every now and then. I worry about you all. So Kuma's coming back and forth. You're so sweet, Komachi. And thus another 8 years would pass. The sun would continue to rise and set like normal until she's gonna die here, isn't she? 14 years ago, a certain kingdom. You look excited, Ginny-san. It's that obvious? Can you blame me, though? Captain of the Revolutionary Army's Eastern Forces, Ginny. Yeah, she's dead. If she's a captain, she's dead. Because we don't see her in the current timeline. Can you blame me, though? We're so close to the day where we get to link up with Komachi's squadron. I'm so happy I can hardly breathe. Ammo 02. Captain Kuma, that lucky dog. He's won the heart of the lady we all admire. Huh? You creeps admire me? Gross. Your words sting. Revolutionary headquarters, Baltigo. Dragon Son. Ginny's been captured. The enemy took us by surprise. Please forgive us. Disturbing news. One Piece chapter 1097 end. No break. Alright, that's good. How long ago was this? 14 years ago. 14 years ago when Luffy was 5. What would have happened then? So Ginny got captured. Don't tell me this is Bonnie. No, this can't be Bonnie. No, Bonnie calls Kuma dad. Who is this then? Who is this Ginny girl? Her face looks so familiar too. But I know she looks like Nami. Even here when she's crying because Kuma took the pain, she looks exactly like Nami. Ginny's been captured. The enemy took us by surprise. Please forgive us. Kuma's endurance is insane. Yeah, Kuma might have the best endurance. King Bikari doing all this to avoid tax is very funny to me. He's a professional tax evader. We got people like that in the real world all the time. Work around it as best you can. And good for them. Why not? If you can find a legal way around paying more taxes, do it, bro. I really like Dragon's design here, especially in color. The big wide color spread of like the Revolutionary Army. Dragon almost looks better here than he does now. And what is that emblem on, like wrapped around his leg? Like the X and then the diamond, the X and then the diamond. Wapol. He's very Wapol like that. The first time they mentioned him, he reminded me of Wapol. He doesn't look like Wapol, but he reminds me of Wapol. Emphasis on the W. Marine Dragon confirmed. Yeah, that's the best part of the chapter for me. I've seen people theorize it's either Akainu or Garling. I'm going with Akainu. I'm hoping we don't get dragon feats until 1100 though. Why? If we get them at all, since that would be an even 1000 chapters. Yeah, because he was introduced chapter 100. Since Dragon's introduction. Yo, Matt C. What's up, man? Matt C in the building, everyone. Unfortunately, we just finished the chapter, Matt. We just finished it, but we're going to do some speculating right now. So you think it's either Akainu or Garling that kidnapped Ginny? 14 years ago. Okay, let me ask you guys this first. Answer in the chat. Do you guys think Ginny is currently dead or alive in the current timeline? I think more than likely because she's a deep character in a flashback. Unless it's going to be like a Sabo situation, but I don't think it is. I think more than likely she's probably dead. But it might be like a Sabo situation where she has like a fake death or just like she's gone so that they no longer see her. So it explains her absence all the way up until now in the current timeline. But Oda is only doing that so that he can introduce this character into the current timeline where we already know their past and their ties to other major characters. Like in the case of Sabo with Ace and Luffy and Dadan and Garp. And in the case of Ginny, we would already understand her established relationship with Kuma, Ivankov, Dragon, and the rest of the Revolutionary Army through this flashback. So you know what? Maybe she is alive. Maybe she is. Let me see what you guys said. John thinks she's dead. So that's one dead. I think she's alive. I don't know why. I know 99.9% of times Oda writes like this. Like with Corazon, with so many other characters in people's flashbacks, they end up dead. But because she got kidnapped, it also depends how long this flashback goes. Because Oda is writing this knowing that we're thinking she's currently dead. Just like Sabo. So he can either write off her death or he can write her into the current timeline. And because right now we're knee deep in Egghead with stuff that revolves around Bonnie, Kuma, Vegapunk, a lot of ties with Dragon and Egghead as well, I think it would be a good time to reintroduce Ginny into the story. So you know what? I'm gonna go. She's still alive. Maybe she's no longer revolutionary. Maybe she's a character we already know, and she just changed her name. Not Bonnie though. But she looks so familiar, man. Cosmos thinks dead. All right, so everyone thinks dead. I'm the only one going. She's alive. I don't know. She could. She's more than likely dead, but my gut's telling me she's probably still alive. Especially since Kuma is basically dead. We know Kuma is like done. Like he's no longer Kuma, and there's no way for him to come back. Okay, wait. She's still. Okay, hold on. Let me do the math here on how old she would be. So we see 30 years ago, she was 21. Oh, so she would be 51. Maybe it is Bonnie, man, because everyone knows Bonnie too. Like all the Marines know Bonnie, and it would make sense if she was a part of the Revolutionary Army for years. But then why would she call Kuma dad? I don't know. And she's also this is not really a good speculation, but she's also eating in the final panel, and we know Bonnie loves to eat. And she does give off like if you were to take all of the trauma away from Bonnie, this is exactly how Bonnie would act. Like this happy-go-lucky, a bit aggressive, eats a lot. Like this is Bonnie's character. It's just that Bonnie's has trauma. That's the only difference. So she's not happy all the time. I don't know. I think she's alive, and I think if it wasn't for Bonnie, even like okay, look at the panel, the final panel of her sitting down with the rifle, with her legs crossed. Her pants, I'm pretty sure, like if you go to Jewelry Bonnie pre-time skip, maybe even currently. Let me look at Bonnie one more time. No, let me see Bonnie and Sabaody. Her original design. Oh, maybe I'm wrong then. Why does her pants remind me of Bonnie then, with the stripes? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I was gonna say Bonnie has those exact same pants, but I guess I'm wrong. Someone has those pants. Captain of the Revolutionary Army's Eastern Forces. And this was 14 years ago. So Luffy would have been 5. So what was going on 14 years ago? That was close to the time when Shanks lost his arm. This would have been 2 years before Shanks took the Nika fruit and visited Ace or Luffy. What was going on in the current timeline at that time? I don't think we have anything else to really tie this to. 14 years ago. What was going on in the Marines 14 years ago? Nothing really. This is kind of like a blank timeline. Oda can fill it up with anything. Yo, GR Max is in the building, everyone. What's good, bro? We just finished reading the chapter. We're just speculating right now. The question is, do you think Ginny in the current timeline is dead or alive? Comment down below if you think she's dead or alive. I think she's alive. Most people in the chat think she's dead. John thinks she's dead. Cosmos thinks she's dead. Do you think Kuma became a tyrant for real, or is it just world government propaganda? I think it's propaganda. I don't see any way where Kuma would actually become a tyrant. But it doesn't really make any sense too, because Kuma already left the kingdom. So he's already with the Revolutionary Army. So at what point in time was Kuma a king of any country? Why do they call him the Tyrant King if so far it looks like he's never been king? I'm doing good, GR Max. How are you doing, bro? We're reading 1097. Well, we're speculating it. We just finished reading it. We're speculating it. She was a slave, bro. What you mean? Who was a slave? Bonnie? So if Kizaru and Luffy were to fight each other bloodlusted, who would win? Luffy. Absolutely Luffy. It could be bloodlusted, it could be laid back. It's Luffy either way. But I would have expected a better fight than what we got between Luffy and Kizaru, honestly. I would have. I know people are saying Kizaru was holding back, even though he straight up lost. I don't see it. I just think he was. I don't think he was holding back. I think he was. He was prioritizing, and at worst, maybe his prioritizing cost him to lose sooner. But that just proves too, like, why was he avoiding? If he's prioritizing going around Luffy to get other shit done, that means he can't beat Luffy, or at the very least, it will take him a very, very long time, and he does not want to deal with it. Which still goes to show, right? It still proves the same thing. I'm glad we're not on break next week, though. I'm really glad we're not on break next week, because I want to see what happens with Ginny, man. What happens with Ginny? Who took her? Why did they remain at Baltigo for 14 years if it was already exposed prior? Oh, no. Never mind. She wasn't at Baltigo. Dragon is in Baltigo, and they're radioing in. She was out. She was in the field. 14 years ago, a certain kingdom. You look excited, Ginny-san. Is it that obvious? Can you blame me? We're so close to the day where we get to link up with Komachi Squadron. So she doesn't even get to see him again. And it seems here it's been so long since they met. And right before they met again, she got taken away. I'm so happy I can hardly breathe. Captain of the Revolution. Oh my god, wait a second. I'm so stupid. Bonnie is Kuma's daughter. I keep thinking this girl is Bonnie because they look alike, they act alike, and they're very similar. And earlier in the chapter, this girl wanted to marry Kuma. This is Bonnie's mom. How did I not even think about that? This has to be Bonnie's mother. And she would be 51 in the current timeline, so Bonnie would be around Bonnie's age. Because, okay, this girl wanted to marry Kuma, and he was like, I would like that, it's just, what does he say? I'm sure it would be. Wouldn't it make you happy? I'm sure it would, but the thing is, I don't want to make you unhappy. So if Kuma is going to have a child with anybody, it's going to be with this girl, this Ginny girl. This has to be Bonnie's mom. It has to be. So, okay, let me think of everyone in the Revolutionary Army right now. It's not Bello Betty. Let me look at Bello Betty's design again. Bello Betty, One Piece. She's got purple hair. No, she doesn't look anything like her. Not even her clothes match. No, it's not Bello Betty. Hold on. No, it's not her. John says, I think that this chapter is one of the best ones we've gotten in a while, writing-wise. It's not agenda piece or lore piece. It's just good writing. Just good character writing. I agree. I'll be honest, guys. Agenda piece is always fun, but I don't really care about agenda piece. I care about, like, lore and good character writing. That's what... Okay. I'm going to sound like a One Piece hater when I say stuff like this. One Piece fights are not that good. I do not watch One Piece. Even though it's a shonen, I don't watch One Piece for its fights. I really don't. Fights are closer to one of the things I care about the least in One Piece compared to, like, Bleach or Naruto or even, like, Hunter x Hunter. I look forward to fights more in those series than I do in One Piece, because One Piece is just so good in telling stories. Flashbacks. Obviously, the best flashbacks I've ever seen are all in One Piece. Character development. Writing. lore. So that's what I want more of. And whenever there are fights, they're only entertaining for the sake of like agenda. So you can be like, I told you this person was that strong. Told you Shanks was top one. Told you Dragon was gonna be Yonko level, and shit like that, right? So I do agree with that, John Phillips. GR Max says, I feel like the reason why Luffy and Kizaru didn't go at it because Sanji would be the one to take on Kizaru. That's why. If Oda does that now, if Kizaru gets back up and now fights Sanji, yo, the Admiral agenda is done, bro. Oda does not care about the Admirals. That would be so insulting. I think it's better for Kizaru to just wrap it up. That's it. Go home. Go home at this point. Plus, Sanji's already down from Saturn's attack, right? Why do you think Kuma and the Iron Giant will be doing? What do you think Kuma and the Iron Giant will be doing once Kuma gets to Egghead? You think? Oh yeah, I forgot the Iron Giant awakened, or like its eyes jumped up. What chapter was that again? What do I think Kuma and the Iron Giant will be doing once they get to Egghead? I'm not sure Kuma is even on his way to Egghead, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not sure that's where Kuma is going. He was in the revolutionary base. He woke up and he just ran. He's trying to get over the Grand Line. Or not the Grand Line, the Red Line, right? Wasn't he climbing like the Red Line? So isn't he going towards the paradise and not the new world, or am I tripping? Because the revolutionaries are in Kamabaka Kingdom. So he's going into the new world from paradise. Maybe he's coming to Egghead, but if he's coming to Egghead, why is he coming to Egghead? What changed? Like, what did some kind of like chip activate? What happened to make him want to go straight to Egghead? And what triggered that Iron Giant to wake up? Maybe the two are linked. Who knows? That's a good question, though. That's a good question, John. But when are they gonna go back to Egghead Island for us to continue the fight? I don't know. Honestly, I'm okay with it being a while. I'm interested in this flashback. All I wanted since we came to Egghead, and you guys who have been watching my live reactions know, I've been enjoying Egghead a lot. It's probably the best arc post time skip, arguably better than Whole Cake. But I kept saying over and over again, I want Kuma's flashback. All I want is Kuma's flashback. That would be the number one thing to really solidify this arc as the best post time skip arc. Is if we got a full, fleshed out, not no Kaido bullshit, a full fleshed out Kuma flashback. And it seems like we're getting it. So I'm okay. How long has it been now? 2-3 chapters? I only started reading it 2 days ago, so I don't even know. I think it's been 3 or 4 chapters, maybe. I'm okay with it being another 4 or 5 more chapters, to be honest. If they're really gonna flesh it out. But it seems they're somewhat rushing through it. They're just giving us the bullet points, right? Because in this chapter, how many time skips did we get? We start off 30 years ago. We see Kuma taking on everyone's pain. We hear about the king and the way the king is operating the kingdom, and how Ginny feels about everyone not knowing about what Kuma's actually doing for them. Then we skip to 25 years ago. We see Ginny wants to marry Kuma. He doesn't want to get her hurt, so he doesn't. Then we skip to 22 years ago, so that's already 3. And then this was the big incident where Kuma rebelled against the kingdom. And he gets put in jail with the rest of them. And then the Revolutionary Army break them out. And then we get 14 years ago, which is the very end of it all. The very end of the chapter. So we get 4 time skips. Total of 16 years. We've seen 16 years of Kuma's life. So unless we get another big incident like the last chapter that will take up a whole chapter, we're probably going to be done with this flashback next chapter. By the end of next chapter is what it's looking like. Unless we really flesh out this Ginny situation, which I hope we do. We got nothing to rush back into, guys. Like, what are we rushing back into? Oh, I get what you mean. You like the story more than the fight. I mean, it's kind of chill, but me personally, I like fights more. That's fair. That's fair, GR Max. If you like fights more, do you watch other shonens? Like, do you watch Naruto, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, all of those like other ones? Because when I compare those fights to One Piece, I don't know if it's just me, but like, okay, if you count story and like, I would still say One Piece has some of the best fights, but because of the story in the fights, like Luffy versus Katakuri can hold up against some of the best fights in shonen. Okay, maybe not some of the best fights, but some really good fights in shonen. But because of its story, not because of like its not because of like its actual fighting sequences. And for everyone saying Sanji is weak because he got blood because of Saturn powers, bro, anybody in Egghead, no, anyone in Egghead would get wrecked by Saturn. No, I've never watched One Punch Man. I tried to watch the first. I think I watched like the first 2 episodes, like 10 years ago when it first came out, and everyone was talking about it. I watched like the first 2 episodes and then I just stopped. The amount of anime and manga that I just started for like 1 or 2 episodes, I then dropped. It's more than the amount I've actually seen. I want to speculate about the next chapter so bad, but I feel like Goda is going to surpass expectations. What do you think is going to happen, John? Give us some of that speculation. I think I don't think next chapter is going to be crazy, but I think it's going to be more crazy than this one. Because we're going to have to address this Ginny situation, right? Her being kidnapped and everything. You know what's one thing I really hope we get to see next chapter? Is just one feat from Dragon. One thing. So we can at least somewhat, don't show us how strong he is. Just let us know he's at least commander level. Give us something simple like that. If you could switch place with anybody in Egghead, who would it be? What do you mean switch place? Like me being there instead of them? I have no idea. Whoever's the safest right now. Yo, Rust is here. The rush might be Blackbeard pulling up to Egghead and the theorized Dragon pulling up to Egghead. I don't think Dragon's gonna pull up. Dragon is like really end game stuff. Like the idea of Luffy meeting Dragon in Egghead. I don't know. You never know what Oda's cooking up. I just don't see that at all. I see like a 0% chance of that. Blackbeard, we already know someone in his ship is pulling up. I would think it's him. We don't know why. So, like, is Shank's father Figureland or what? So, will Dragon's Devil Fruit be revealed in the next chapter? Even something like that, you see? Alright, even if we get Dragon's Devil Fruit, even if it's like a basic feat against fodder, and we don't have to get his Devil Fruit's name, but we just see him use it. And it could be like a single ability of his fruit so that you can't really gauge what his ability is, but it opens up so much room for speculations and theories. Right? Like, what's a good example? I know there's some people that use their fruits really early on, and then we all theorize, and then it was completely something different. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. But there's many fruits that were like that in the series. But we're definitely continuing next chapter. I think that's very clear. We're continuing this flashback. And there's no break, so that's good. That's very good. And we're 14 years from the current timeline, so we're almost done. One way or another, we're almost done this flashback. I'm thinking that in 1098, we will get Kuma coming to Ginny's aid and a cliffhanger. Then in 1099, some tragedy will happen that either ends the flashback or leads into the climax of it in 1100. Okay, hold on. I'm always sick, guys. I'm always sick. So in 1098, you think we'll get Kuma coming to Ginny's aid and then a cliffhanger. Then the chapter after that, some tragedy will happen that either ends the flashback or leads into. Okay, I will say this: if Ginny and Kuma actually get to meet in this flashback and see each other, then Ginny's dying. Ginny's dead. If they don't get to see each other and it ends with no closure between them, kind of like, okay, because look at like, what was the one thing that made Sabo's death, aside from the fact that Oda didn't show us him dying and it was very obvious he didn't die, but take that aside, what made Sabo's death different than, let's say, Bellamir's, Corazone's, everything else? It was that Bellamir had got closure with Nami and Nojiko. Corazon got closure with Law. Robin's mom got closure with Robin. All these people, they got closure, right? There was a lot. It was done. It was like, okay, it's not like, damn, if they came back, they could do this one thing. They'd be able to meet again. No, they got their closure. Sabo didn't get any closure with Ace and Luffy. Like, the last time they saw each other was so fucked. It wasn't even like, it would have been crazy if Sabo actually died. They didn't know that. They didn't even know they were not going to see each other again. So if Ginny does not see Kuma by the end of this flashback, I don't care I don't care if he shows us her being beheaded. I don't think she's dead. If we see her and Kuma meet up and then they get some kind of closure, then she's more than likely dead. So if it goes the way you're saying in 1098, then I do think she's dead then. But the way I see it is, because look, she was just about to see him. She was so excited to see him. I'm assuming it's been years, and then she gets taken away. I don't think Oda would write that unless the point is that they're not going to see each other again in this flashback. That's the last time he sees her. Which then makes me think she'll see him in the current timeline. Which I know is still bittersweet. It's still sad because Kuma is no longer Kuma. But at least they'll get to see each other, right? At least she will be able to see him. But I could see that happening too, John. I could see that happening. With a cliffhanger, then 1099, some tragedy will happen, so that's probably where she'll die, and then flashback ends or leads into the climax of it in 1100. If we have to wait 3 more chapters to see what Dragon does, I really hope we get to see Dragon's feats next chapter. Like, just something, man. Just something. I know a good example, like Imu's powers. Yeah, but Imu, we still didn't get her. We still don't know what Imu's powers are, right? I'm thinking of like someone who teased their powers. Doflamingo. Doflamingo is a good example. Okay, Doflamingo we saw all the way back in Marijoa when he was meeting up with Sengoku and the rest of the warlords, and then we saw it again with Bellamir when he was admonishing Bellamir, right, and punishing him. And we kind of thought it was like, okay, maybe it's like the puppet fruit or something like that, or like he somehow controls them. But then it ends up being completely, and then you see him flying all the way to Punk Hazard, and I think by then we still didn't know what his devil fruit power was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we knew by then. But then you start to see all these different abilities of him, and then you get the reveal. It's the string fruit. There's other examples too, but just stuff like that where you see one ability. So here we might see Dragon, like, I don't know, use some wind powers like we've seen before, or something else. And it's not really like you're telling us he has the wind fruit. It could be the weather fruit. It could be the force fruit, where he's able to force things, right? He can force wind to go at a certain speed. He can force any type of physical object to go in any direction at any speed, anything, right? Like, it could be anything. You don't have to show us the full ability, but give us something, man. I think we deserve it after this long. Show us him, like, I don't know, fighting guys that are like commander level and beating them. So then at least we can know he's at least a top tier. Even if he's not like top 5 in the verse, we know he's at least top 15. Then you could save his real powers for endgame. Will there ever be a power that would be able to break reality in One Piece? I don't think so. Well, now we have magic in One Piece, right? because Saturn did some type of magic to teleport into Egghead. This was a good chapter, though, guys. This was a really, really, really good chapter. Um, Next, so I'll see you guys next Wednesday then, I guess. Next Wednesday or Thursday, when this chapter, hopefully. But actually, it's looking like right now, I might have to hold off next week because I won't be available for a chapter reaction. One final time. One final time, I'll be gone, get some shit done, and then I'll have a proper schedule again. A proper full schedule to get back into weekly live reactions, and then I'll be able to get back into videos as well. So if you guys don't see a live reaction next week, just know it's more than likely the last week that will happen. And I'll put some updates on the channel as well. But that's going to be the stream, guys. Before we leave, let me know in the comments what you guys rate the chapter. My Akainu Claps Dragon theory is becoming more relevant. Aokiji beats his former master Garp, Kizaru his student Sentomaru, and Akainu will beat his mate Dragon. Come on, bro. That's not a good comparison at all. That is not a good comparison at all. And first of all, Aokiji didn't beat Garp. Shiryu beat Garp, if anything. But it was the two of them together. And we don't even know that Garp is done. John Phillips says, Dragon ate the Shanks no Mi, which made 1% of Shanks 2 times Mihawk. 1% of Shanks is 2 times Mihawk is jokes. But yeah, Dragon does have a lot of similarities with Shanks. Not in personality, but in prestige, I guess is the word. Oda treats them the same. And he doesn't treat Mihawk like that. You could say Mihawk is also saved. Yeah, he is. He's saved like these two. But Oda clearly does not treat Mihawk. And I love Mihawk. I like Mihawk way more than Dragon. But Oda does not carry Mihawk as delicately as he carries Shanks and Dragon. He never has. 9 out of 10. Now you're downplaying Admirals. What did I say? How am I downplaying Admirals? What did I even say? You're talking about the Akainu comment? Akainu Claps Dragon is not happening. Aokiji beating Garp did not happen. That's just a fact. It was Aokiji and Shiryu. Kizaru beat Sentomaru. Sentomaru was fodder. I think Akainu and Dragon will be an endgame thing. I think Akainu's either going to fight Dragon or Sabo. But even if he fights Sabo, we're going to have to see him and Dragon address each other. But one thing that's interesting is that we're getting hints of Dragon's history here. But obviously, we're not going to touch on it, right? We're going to save that for Dragon's flashback on its own. But it's interesting because now we know we didn't have to wait for a Dragon flashback to find out that he's a former Marine. We got it in Kuma's flashback, and I love that. I guess what I'm saying with Dragon, in terms of his lore and his power, don't just hold it all and then give it to us all at once. Leave droplets, right? Leave droplets of lore. I like what he did telling us he was a former Marine. Leave breadcrumbs here and there and do that with his power as well. Show a little bit of stuff just so we know he's even we don't even know that he's competent in fighting yet. I mean, obviously he is, but there's no evidence of it. There's no actual proof is what I'm saying. So if Oda can just leave little pieces here and there of lore and his history and how strong he is bit by bit, and then when we go to the Dragon flashback near Endgame, then we get the full picture. At least then we weren't waiting. It's like you don't want to come into a buffet having not eaten anything for 2 whole days. It's gonna hurt your stomach, right? You want to eat a little bit, have a little bit of bread, have a little bit. If you're fasting, for example, you want to eat a little bit after you're done. Have a little bit of bread, have a little bit of water, let that digest. Then you go and you eat a big meal, right? You don't go from 0 to 100. So I don't want to go from 0 to 100 with Dragon. There's no fun in that. The fun is in seeing it bit by bit and understanding, oh, okay, we really didn't understand Dragon like that. Neither his strength nor his character. My bad, I was driving. 10 out of 10. Love the chapter. Build up between Kuma and Ginny and seeing the revs. Yeah, same here. So John gives it 9 out of 10. Rust gives it a 10 out of 10. Ringo, what do you give it? Teach and Shanks Endgame forever. No emu, no dragon. I'm going to say this was an 8 out of 10. Because it has everything, but it still holds back on a lot of there's no lore, I guess. There's no lore. But it's a fantastic chapter. Like, you can't ask for anything else in this chapter. But you got to save those 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s for the chapters that are just like straight lore dumps or just pure hype. Whether it's fighting, whether it's lore. This is great character writing too. I think the best part of this chapter by far is seeing Kuma take everyone's pain and understanding that the reason that Ginny was telling everyone was so mean and was like aggressive as soon as they said, "Can you do this every day?" She was like, "No, weekends only. Right after that, we see why she's like that, and she's crying outside as Kuma's taking the pain, and then she's healing it time and time again. That was some fantastic writing, especially when he looked back at what Kuma did with Zoro and Thriller Bark, now knowing that he's done that to himself so many times. So he kind of has the right to do that with Zoro. I think that's nice. I would give it 8 out of 10, guys. And yeah, that's going to be the stream for today, guys. I will see you guys. More than likely, I won't be able to see you guys next week for 1098. It will be my last time going on a trip for work. It should be my last time going on a trip. So I won't be home. Maybe another week, maybe 2 weeks. But then when I'm back, I'm back. Thankfully, I'll be back this time. So I can go back to a full schedule. And then, so hopefully if there's no break, 2 weeks from now for 1099, I should be back. Otherwise, if there's a break, 3 weeks from now from 1099, and I'll do 1098 and 1099 together. That's the plan for now. Good stream, bro. I'll see you later. Thank you for pulling up, John. Thank you for pulling up Ringo, Russ, Cosmos earlier, GR Max, Matt C was in here, John Phillips. I appreciate you guys. This was an amazing chapter. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out, guys. Videos coming